The Green Bay Packers travel away from the friendly confines of Lambeau Field to Detroit to determine who is the king of the North. I've got your best bets inside. Let's go. Good Thursday, everybody, and welcome to the jungle. I've got 3 bets for you right here for your game between the Lions and the Packers. But if you want access to my full betting card every day, go to silverbackjungle.com, click Become a Jungle Member, or text the number on your screen, and my full betting card will get texted to your phone every single day. We have a free weekly trial. Take it for a test spin and see if it's for you. At the conclusion of our last play every day, we recap all things that happen in the jungle over on X at Silverback Betting, so give me a follow over there. It looks like this. We had a profitable night last night. We were 6-5, up 0.7 units. All green days are good days. We were 0-1 in college basketball, 6-4 in the NBA. And a reminder, every weekday, 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, we do a live show. It's interactive. Ask me anything you want, any games you're considering betting. Let me know what you like in the games we discuss on the live show. We go through everything. We're taking a deep dive today into the NFL game. Lions-Packers, great game, King of the North game, as well as all the bets I like for the association. Let's get started. Play number 1, I like Jamison Williams of the Detroit Lions over 48.5 receiving yards, currently minus 115. Over on FanDuel. He's second in the Lions in targets, and he's been over this in 5 of his last 7 games, averaging almost 13 yards a catch. Goff will look for him a little bit today. I like Williams to go over 48.5 receiving yards. Now, the next 2 bets are a little bit correlated. Not a parlay, of course, but a little bit correlated. And I'm going to talk to you about why I like the under and a couple things here, a couple props, and the total. And the total is floating around 50.5 for a little bit. It's 51.5 now. 51 is a very key number. If you like the over, you want to stay around 51 or 50.5. You don't want to go to 51.5. If you like the under, you want to wait for it to go to 51.5 like I did, because you want to be on the good side of the hook with 51, depending on which side you like. But here's why I like the under in this game, and why I like another prop that we're going to get to. 8 of their combined last 10 games have gone to the under and been under this number of 51.5. As the season goes on, take away the Browns game the other night, but as the season goes on, especially when you have divisional opponents that know each other this well, games tend to lend themselves to the under. Teams are beat up, they're tired, and that's kind of, coaches don't want to make as many mistakes, even Dan Campbell, so there's less risk involved, and the games tend to tick a little bit. Teams run more, and the clock ticks a little bit. Jared Goff has been under 255 yards passing in 4 of his last 6 games. Kind of ties into what I was just saying about the under there. These 2 teams both run the ball a ton. Okay, 3rd and 5th most in the NFL, they run the ball. They throw the ball 3rd and 4th least of anyone in the NFL. So you have 2 teams that run the ball a ton. The clock should keep moving. We know Dan Campbell likes to lean on the run, but Josh Jacobs is 3rd in the NFL in rushing attempts. They like to run the ball too. Like I said, especially 2 division opponents that know each other so very well, that run the ball so much and they throw so little. Now, they're both high up there in terms of passing yards because they rely on the big play, the big chunk yards in the passing game. But both these defenses limit the big play. They're both top 10 in limiting the big play. 51.5 is a big number for these kind of defenses, okay? Detroit has a bunch of defensive linemen out. DJ Reader out is going to hurt them a ton, I think, which is why I would lean to the Packers if I took a side here with the 3.5, but I'm not betting that. That's just something I suggest if you're looking for a side from me. My 3 bets, like we talked about, are Williams over 48.5 receiving yards, and I'm going under 51.5 total here, minus 108 over on DraftKings. I'm also going under, like I talked about, on Jared Goff, under 255.5 passing yards, minus 120 over on Fanatics. Now, both these guys are top 7 in the NFL in takeaway ratio too. So I think we're going to have a game here. And when I talked about how the Lions have some defensive linemen, I think they have 3 linemen out between first stringers and second stringers, maybe 4. But when I talk about that's not going to lend itself itself to the over, in my opinion, because they're not going to try and beat them over the top. They're going to pound the ball at him with Josh Jacobs. Now, I looked at his rushing attempts, 17.5 is high. He does average over 18.4 rushing attempts per game this season, which is a lot. He's been over 19 the last 4 games. But in terms of in this game, I think 17.5 and is pretty juiced. I think that's a lot to ask. So I'm staying away from that, although I do think they run the ball a lot. That's not a bad prop. It doesn't fit into my 3 favorites today. So it's Williams over 48.5 receiving yards. It's the under 51.5, and it's Jared Goff under 255.5 passing yards. Let me know. By the way, the public's all over the over because you look at the offensive stats, and they tend to neglect what the defensive side of the ball does. The defense gets paid too, as I always say, and I think these numbers back my case as to why I like the under. Let me know in the comments if you're going to ride with me on the under 51.5, or you think I'm a silly Willie and you're going to bet the over. And I'll see you at 3 o'clock p.m. today Eastern time for the live show. We'll take even a deeper dive into this game, and I'll see you tomorrow, Jungle, with a little more money in your pocket.